Were there any deals where you might have been able to get across the finish line if you would have given up maybe more than you wanted to?
My job is to not be reckless with this role. And it's easy to say, it's not fantasy football. It's not. And fantasy football is awesome for what all it brings to our game. But this is not there's so many things, ramifications of cost and draft picks. The GMs are coming in younger, and there's more have played true fantasy football and stuff like that, and they're growing up in a world of trades.
Wow, that was Bills GM Brandon Beard. I feel like subtweeting the Jags, to be honest. We have the youngest GM in town.
I don't know if...
Does that mean I should be an NFL general manager? That's what I feel. That's what Brandon Beard is saying.
Do you feel responsible for the Jacoby Myers trade as a pioneer in the industry? Is this your fault?
It might be. I was clamoring for it.
I would say, though, I don't know if that's entirely true. Yet when the trade deadline happened, more trades happened in the NFL than I've been able to make personally, and I play in double-digit leagues. It's hard.
Good point.
In 2025, it is hard to trade in fantasy football because nobody want to trade. Everybody feel like they getting beat or gypped, or everybody feel like they got to win the trade. I don't see trades happening often anymore in fantasy football.
No,
Matthew.
You see too many things. Like backup producer Pete has been shopping Nick Chubb for asking for like starting quarterbacks for Nick Chubb in our league, like literally for like 2 weeks, like for a month. Like, hey, I noticed Patrick Mahomes on a bye. Can I give you Nick Chubb for him? Help you out of the spot this week? And you're like,
unbelievable.
Just stop it. It's outrageous.
Back up, Pete. The Daryl Morey of our league. It's very hard to strike a deal with.
By the way, cut to Daryl Morey. Like, let me just check out, like.
It's a compliment. He drives a hard bargain, Daryl, apparently.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I know Daryl a little bit. Daryl's a good dude. I like Daryl.
Well, he's famous for being a hard man to trade with. He wins every trade.
There you go.
Compliment to Daryl, if you're watching, Mr. Morey. Pete is a New York Giants fan. They didn't trade any of their quarterbacks, much to his chagrin, but they keep Jaxson Dart, who is quarterback number 4 for you, Matthew, this week.
Yeah, they traded up to get him, though.
They did trade up to get him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's working out pretty well so
It has worked out pretty well, not only for real-life football, but for fantasy football. Brandon Bean, I know you're not a fan, but we're all a fan of Jaxson Dart here because since Jaxson Dart took over as the starter in Week 4, he's been the 4th best quarterback in fantasy football. He comes in at number 4 in my ranks, 4 straight games with a rushing touchdown. You're seeing a theme here. 70%, there's a different number, 70% of the team's red zone rush attempts since Week 7. By the way, the Bears giving up the 7th most fantasy points per game to opposing quarterbacks. So Jaxson Dart is in for a big day against a suspect Bears defense.
Like that call, Matthew. I'll raise you one here, staying that same game.
Okay.
I'll go Caleb Williams.
Interesting.
46.5 over/under. I actually like that to go over. New York is bottom 8 in allowing fantasy points per game to quarterbacks. They've allowed the 6th most rushing yards to quarterbacks, and we know Caleb Williams can run the football. He just ran 53 on the Bengals. Now, I know Caleb Williams was like, if it doesn't happen versus this Bengals defense, then it may be time to be out from a fantasy perspective, but it happened, and he went off. He went crazy. So now, against the Giants team, who they're a little weaker on the back end, if their line could hold up versus the front 4 of the New York Giants, I expect another big day from Caleb Williams.
Yep, absolutely. All right, let's jump to Sunday Night Football. Justin Herbert, Matthew, having one of the best stretches of his career, even if he's throwing more interceptions than he did last year. And he gets a pretty favorable matchup against the Steelers, notwithstanding that Steelers defense did look better last week.
Steelers defense definitely looked better, but like we've talked about it a little bit throughout this show, right? We talked about McConkey, we talked about Aronde Gadsden, and now we're going to talk about the guy throwing those two the ball. That's Justin Herbert. Like, you love this matchup against the Steelers. Let's just start there. Quarterbacks that faced Pittsburgh this year averaging 299 passing yards a game. The last 3 they faced, which you see on your screen there. Flacco threw for 342, Jordan Love 360, Daniel Jones in a losing effort threw for 342 yards. They've actually given up the Steelers. The Steelers have given up at least 2 total touchdowns to every quarterback they faced this year, except Dylan Gabriel. He was the only guy that couldn't
Why he didn't do it?
Yeah, what are you going to do? But either way, like, again, we talked about this. We've talked about earlier in the week, we talked about Herbert's rushing. It's averaging 34 rushing yards per game. Lawrence, I know you've won some money on Justin Herbert rushing over the course of the year. So I think Herbert has a big game this week. He's my QB5. He makes the love list. prominently.
Yep, another boy who can run, Lawrence, is Drake Maye, who can use his legs, certainly. And he plays against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who perennially are a bit of a pass funnel defense, even if the pass defense has been sneaky good this year. But I think Drake Maye, he's been excellent this year. He would finish top 4, top 5 in MVP in a vote held today, and his fantasy value has been excellent too. The one thing that has suppressed his value is that he's played in quite a number of blowouts, where he just hasn't had to do anything in the fourth quarter. Now, against the Bucs, the Patriots are 2.5-point dogs. The total is 48.5, and so we've kind of been waiting for this Patriots offense to explode a bit, for Stephon Diggs to have one of those games that he did against the Bills, and for them to just ignite and not just kind of grind out these wins against lesser opponents. So I think this might be the week where we get a Drake Maye and a 300 passing yard, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown type of operation.
I could use it because he's one of my quarterbacks.
I like having
against
cheer against
chubby
Drake.
Take it all back.
So we'll see. Here's hoping.
This game's
But I
something
agree
up
with
top
you.
balls. All right, let's jump to others receiving
I just want to
votes.
make it respectable. You're a 40-point favorite for the love of God.
Is the spread that big?
Don't couch it. Play to win.
I'm just
Matthew.
trying to. I am playing to win.
No, you're not.
Like,
You're playing to lose less than 40 points, apparently. I don't care for that.
I'm just saying the line is 40 points, but here I come with my 3 tight end strategy, screwing you up.
listen.
You're like it's going to get on your head. You don't know what to do with that.
He's not out of the race. 7 losses. Look, I did my part in making sure that Matthew does not make the playoffs. So the pressure's on you now, Jay.
It is true. Connor
That is some pressure.
Connor destroyed me. You beat me. You beat me pretty bad. So it's really you're the
You
last.
can't be the
remaining-
one on the desk.
Matthew not
More pressure on you than me.
Matthew not mathematically eliminated yet. New York Jets not eliminated from the playoffs either this year. We'll see how both of those
We both had the
pursuits.
same amount of chance.
Yeah. I mentioned, Matthew, that Drake Maye would finish top 5 in an MVP vote held today. I think the guy who would win the award, if it were voted on today, would be Matthew Stafford. And he headlines others receiving votes in a matchup against the Niners.
Well, yeah, this Niners team, again, their defense has struggled, obviously. No Fred Warner or Nick Bosa either. Since week 5, they've really struggled against opposing quarterbacks. Since week 5, they're giving up over 21 fantasy points to quarterbacks. 4 of the last 5 quarterbacks to face San Francisco scored 19 fantasy points. Back in week 5, Stafford had 389 and 3 touchdowns against the Niners. How about Jared Goff against my Commanders? 7 of the 9 quarterbacks that have faced Washington this year have scored at least 18.7 fantasy points. They're giving up touchdowns at the second highest rate over the last 3 weeks. Start everyone you can against these Ron Rivera-led Washington Commanders. That's what the defense reminds me of the golden era of Ron Rivera. It's tough.
Not a great year for Dan Quinn. I understand he
Been a
doesn't
tough
have
year
the
for-
horses, but
No,
still,
it's been a tough year for Dan Quinn. I'm a Dan Quinn fan. I'm a Cliff Kingsbury fan, but it has been a tough year. The defense has not progressed the way we would have expected under a head coach that comes from the defensive side of the ball, for sure.
Yeah. Give him a bit of a pass after how good last year was, and then you find out next year.
They
what
need
you
like
got.
a real get after it dog in the front 7, particularly on the
Need
defensive
some
line.
cornerbacks as well.
Yeah,
Some safeties.
like they thought they were
They
getting.
should have kept your boy Jeremy Chin.
Yeah,
He
they
should have stayed
absolutely
with
should
them.
have.
He's doing that on the Raiders.
He's been great, and I wish they'd kept him. I think they legitimately thought Marshawn Lattimore was just hurt last year, and
as opposed to like you. the
as opposed
cornerback.
to me, who just said I think he's done. And so far, I've been proven correct. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotorworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.